chairman of the Federal Reserve because Trump doesn't like his interest rates. Jerome Powell, you can see he is here with the president back in July, looking like the two saddest members of Devo. They have been out. You know we're in trouble when they start coming for the old white banker guys. That's when the nucleus of Jerome Powell's supposed crimes against America is Trump's people claim he mismanaged the renovation of the headquarters of the central bank. And if there's one thing Donald Trump will not stand for, it's a renovation project that goes over budget. Powell says this investigation it's intimidation and it's punishment for not lowering interest rates in the way Trump wants him to. Trump says he didn't know about the investigation and has nothing to do with it, which is also what he said about Eric. So
the Justice Department said on Friday that it is closing its investigation into Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. The decision by U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro removes an obstacle to the confirmation of Kevin Warsh, President Donald Trump's pick to lead the central bank. The criminal investigation into Powell had stalled Warsh's confirmation after Republican Senator Thom Tillis vowed to block all Fed nominees until the DOJ ended what he called a baseless investigation. The probe, which had been examining cost overruns in the renovation of the Fed's Washington headquarters, became the latest flashpoint in the Justice Department's pursuit of adversaries and critics of Trump. A federal judge last month blocked subpoenas to the Fed's Board of Governors, finding they were issued for the improper purpose of pressuring Powell to cave to Trump's demands to rapidly lower interest rates or resign. Pirro, who is a Trump ally and the top federal prosecutor in Washington, D.C., said she had instead asked the Fed's internal watchdog, the Office of Inspector General, to examine the renovations. A spokesperson for the Fed declined to comment. A White House spokesperson said the Inspector General was best positioned to get to the bottom of the matter and said it was confident the Senate would confirm Warsh.
What Trump is doing right now, it's like if you hired a plumber to install a new toilet, and the plumber tells you it'll only take an hour to put it in, and then there you are 8 weeks later, and you still have a hole in the ground. So you call him, and he says, installation's going great, everything's perfect, ahead of schedule. In fact, he actually finished the job back in March. But as soon as he can get his vice plumber over there to flush it, your bowel movements will go down better than ever before. Definitely better than Joe Biden, okay?
We projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that.
Operation Epic Fury, we expect to last about 4 to 6 weeks.
Are you thinking this week it will be over?
No,
Are you talking
but soon.
about days?
I think soon.
Okay, and with respect
Very
to...
soon. Look, we won the bet. In the first hour, it was over.
I don't think it's going to be long.
Can we wrap this war up this week?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Will we?
I don't think so, but it'll be soon. Won't be long.
It would take approximately 4 to 6 weeks to achieve this critical mission.
So we estimate it would take approximately 4 to 6 weeks to achieve our mission. 26 days in, we're really a lot ahead of schedule.
4 to 6 weeks estimated timeline for Operation Epic Fury.
You know, he said 4 to 6 weeks.
President Trump has proven before he does not bluff. When he makes a promise, he follows through on it. And I'm not sure why, after 10 years of covering this president, the American media still cannot understand when President Trump says he's going to do something, he's going to do it.
That's right. Said he was going to end the war in Ukraine in one day. He said he's going to release his tax returns, the new health care plan, the wall, Greenland. This is a man whose word is as good as the gold commode he sits on.
The man started a war, blockaded an entire country's ports, got 13 American soldiers killed, sent oil prices through the roof, and closed off the Strait of Hormuz, which, by the way, is where roughly a fifth of the world's oil passes through. So that's going great for your gas bill. And his word for all of this is swimmingly, like he's describing a Tuesday at the Mar-a-Lago pool. And it gets better. He also said the war should be ending pretty soon. Pretty soon. Now, I want to be clear. This is the same man who said he would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. It's day 56 of the Iran conflict, and here we are. At this rate, pretty soon means sometime before the sun burns out. So let me catch you up on exactly where we are, because it's a lot. Trump announced a ceasefire with Iran. Great. Then the ceasefire was about to expire, so he extended it, but kept the naval blockade in place. Iran said they won't negotiate under the shadow of threat. Trump said he's ready to resume bombing. Iran seized commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Trump ordered the military to shoot and kill any Iranian boats laying mines. And then, in the middle of all this, he flew to Las Vegas to talk about no tax on tips. I mean, you have to admire the range. 1 minute, you're blockading a nation of 90 million people. The next, you're telling waitresses in Nevada that their shift money is safe. That's governing. That's leadership. Now, Trump also extended the Israel-Lebanon ceasefire by 3 weeks. He announced it, where else? On Truth Social. Right before the post went up, Hezbollah had just launched rockets at northern Israel. So the ceasefire was announced approximately 4 minutes after both sides violated it, which is a little like yelling, "Nobody move," after the car crash. Israel's defense minister, meanwhile, said Israel is prepared to return Iran to the Stone Age and is just waiting for the green light from Washington. The Stone Age. These are serious adults managing serious things. The Stone Age, I looked it up, that was roughly 2.5 million years ago. So Israel wants to set Iran back 2.5 million years, and we're calling that a foreign policy objective. Here's what I love most about Trump's approach to this war. When reporters asked him for a timeline on ending it, he said, and again, this is a real quote, "Don't rush me." Don't rush me. Sir, nearly 3,400 people have been killed in Iran since February, over 2,200 in Lebanon. 13 American service members are dead. The Strait of Hormuz has been effectively closed for almost 2 months, which is why your gas is expensive, your flights cost $100 more, and your grocery bill looks like a mortgage payment. And the President of the United States is saying, "Don't rush me," like someone who can't decide between the salmon and the steak. Oh, and there was an Iranian cargo ship, a 900-foot vessel called the Tuska, nearly as heavy as an aircraft carrier, tried to get through the naval blockade. Trump announced proudly that U.S. forces fired on it and seized it. Turns out, according to the Iranian Red Crescent, the ship was carrying medical supplies for dialysis patients. Now, I don't want to editorialize here. I'm just going to let that sit for a second. Okay, I'll editorialize a little. We seized a dialysis ship. We are currently winning the war on kidneys. Meanwhile, Iran has been under an internet blackout for 55 consecutive days. Connectivity is at 2% of normal levels, 1,296 hours. 90 million people essentially cut off from the internet, from payment systems, from online commerce, and Trump is posting about it on Truth Social, a website that runs on the internet. The irony there is so thick, you could serve it at a Mar-a-Lago buffet. So where are the peace talks? Trump says negotiations will happen probably, maybe next weekend in Islamabad, Pakistan. Iran says they won't go until the naval blockade is lifted. Trump says the blockade stays. Iran says then they won't go. Trump says he's ready to bomb again. It's basically the world's most expensive game of you hang up first. And in the middle of this diplomatic masterpiece, Trump's own advisors are reportedly warning him in private that extending the ceasefire without a deadline removes all the pressure on Iran and lets them drag out talks forever. So his own people are telling him this is a mistake, which means it will absolutely continue exactly as planned. Look, I don't want to be all doom and gloom here. There is one piece of genuinely good news. Trump clarified this week that the U.S. will not use a nuclear weapon in Iran, which, and I say this with complete sincerity, thank you. The bar is on the floor, but we cleared it. He also said Iran's soccer team is still welcome to play in the World Cup in Los Angeles this summer. We're bombing them, blockading their ports, seizing their ships, but their striker can still take the 405 to SoFi Stadium. That's sportsmanship. That's the American spirit. The war is going swimmingly, everybody. It will be over pretty soon. There is no time pressure. And in the meantime, just so you know, the USS George H.W. Bush aircraft carrier has arrived in the Middle East, bringing the total number of massive U.S. warships in the region to 3. 3 aircraft carriers for a war that's going swimmingly. You know what else goes swimmingly? Titanic, right up until it didn't. We'll be right back.